at TI. You made no roster changes, but then in June, you parted ways with Matumba Man. That had to have been really difficult because you've been playing together as the same players for so long. So I know that that wasn't a decision that you made lightly.
No, it was, I mean, I was basically depressed for like 4 weeks afterwards. It sounds silly because I made the decision, but at the end of the day, being captain, leader, and whatever of this team, I have so much responsibility. Like, they're all trusting me, after all, to make the right decisions. So getting Weha and replacing Mato with Weha is not just like exchanging like a player for a better player. That's not what happened. It's more like Mato was like a victim of these events. Like, I just needed to change something right now. That's how I felt.
And how was that as a player for you, GH?
I mean, we all felt some kind of complacency in the team. It felt like everyone was just okay with not being the best. We had some feelings of, okay, we didn't win this one, but we weren't trying our best to win the next one.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Mato. He's talking about the whole team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it felt the build-up was there, but we didn't know how to deal with it because all of us as players, we actually wanted to win, but we didn't know what was the missing factor, that spark that actually was going to lead us to win. Because no one was feeling this sense of urgency to actually try 120% better to win the game. So the situation was kind of weird because I have never experienced it before. And Kuro was, I mean, I can keep talking highly about Kuro, but he actually foresaw what was going to happen, and he made the best choice by actually changing something. Even though I love Mato and I love him as a person, as a player, but Kuro had stronger idea that something had to change, and I respect him so highly for that because it's not an easy decision. So I was really happy that he had the strength to do what was necessary in order for us to succeed. Our team and Mato as an individual and someone else too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Time to get into game number 2. PSG have the lead. Will it stay that way? Let's find out.
Psg.Lgd versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
Now, folks, I know what's going through your head right now. You say, Visiter har hiventen ak spelar lit dota. And I hear you, man, but it's a little bit different when you were up on this main stage. You obviously know, if you can hear it through the speakers right now, you can hear it through the stream. LGD definitely going to be the fan favorites, and now Liquid is going to have their backs against the wall. Is the longest losers run that we've ever seen at TI going to come to an end in this game? And as we look at the draft, which is already underway, we're going to see some familiar faces, Kyle.
Yeah, indeed. And dude, you don't just hear the crowd. I'm telling you, the players on the booth, they feel it. They've got the booths have a heartbeat. As the crowd like starts to get into it, you're feeling the pulse, and it's got to be insane to be playing right now because every time Psg.Lgd gets momentum, it's like you're starting to vibrate.
So I've never actually done it as a player, obviously, but I've gotten the opportunity to be up on the main stage and actually introduce teams. And I remember the first time I did it, the thing that I didn't expect was to feel my teeth shake. You could literally, when the fans started screaming, you could hear your teeth shake. That vibration that Kyle mentioned, that energy, it's definitely felt, even if you're in a noise-canceling booth.
Yeah, when it comes with the nerves, you know, when you're in a team setting, people will ask you, do you feel comfortable playing this hero? I think it's a good hero for the game, kind of thing. The draft, the captain will ask you. And what hero are you going to play for millions of dollars? That's the question going into this draft. That's why so much of the meta, so much of the like popular heroes doesn't matter once you get into these later stages of the draft. You ask a player, like, what do you feel comfortable playing in this pivotal match for your career?
We don't need to guess when it comes to FY. The man is a killer, and there's this iconic group of players, less than a handful. Everyone plays their best Dota TI, but some guys, like, they ascend somehow. That was FY's 100th game of Rubik. He just crushed. Now they early pick his Lion. It's just the best anti-carry hero in Dota. You have 2 methods of lockdown, tons of burst damage, and already Psg.Lgd, they have so much control in this lineup.
Now, the funny thing that I want to bring up as well with LGD, and this is something that we saw that even transcends the draft, the way that they've itemized has been spectacular.
Yes.
They've basically been able to close gaps even when they fall behind just by itemizing the right way.
Yeah, that last game, we talked about having to survive through the chrono. You just have a Centaur with a heart, you have a Spectre with a heart. They just know, in the draft, you see their game plan come to life almost when you watch the game itself.
It's damage reduction, and they had so much of it. The Fade Bolt, you had Pipe, Crimson Guard, Ags, Centaur. Gyro gets an Ag, so even if he's CC'd in the middle of the Chronosphere, he's just going to still be dealing damage. It's just an excellent way to deal with what Liquid had in the previous game. This time, they steal the support duo of Rubik ET, the Miracle Sven perhaps, but we're going to have to see him turn up a bit. Both we and Miracle got solo killed in that first game in the first 10 minutes.
I do want to go back to kind of what you were saying, because you said it so well while we were hanging out in the crowd and watching this game. When we looked at what LGD said, they said, okay, yeah, what Liquid has put together, they're going to be able to get it off consistently. So they didn't say, how do we avoid it? They said, how do we deal with it once we actually do get caught? And that's the type of thinking that we've seen from LGD so far in this tournament. It's one of the reasons they've looked like such a top dog Lifestealer.
And I know we're probably, a lot of the NA groups are going to have a bit of PTSD about this hero, Arteezy. Out of the tournament, 0-2, both on this Lifestealer, but it's a completely different game. You're up against two supports that have absolutely nothing to deal with Rage, and in addition, it's arguably the hardest counter to Sven because you just hit him in the face.
Yeah, and it's a reliable way to deal with combos like Sven Darkseer. Liquid coming out with this Wombo combo teamfight, something we've seen different approaches from these teams. We've seen these like split pushy, skirmishy, kind of back and forth type lineups, and then we see these Wombo combos. If you get caught by this Darkseer vacuum into Sven stun, you're all gonna die. But I love LGD because they just understand that they think about these things, and you can see in the game, their positioning, the hero picks, Lifestealer makes it so much easier to avoid these types of things happening, and it's just another Ame hero, right? It's a farming hero that's going to get his items, and he's going to hit that crucial timing, and they can play around what he does for the game. Spectre being the last pick. This is the first time I've seen LGD, I think in the last like 5 or 6 games, not pick Ame's hero last.
I do want to go back to something that you just said there as well, BSJ, because I feel like it has been a huge theme of the tournament. But besides all the storylines, the idea of the young players really stepping up and the ideas of whether or not we were going to have back-to-back champions, it's constantly that question of, is this going to be a skirmish game or a Wombo combo game? And what we see right now, Kyle, how do you feel it's shaping up?
It's all about Liquid's pace. You've got 2 heroes that traditionally farm ancient stacks to recover. You can't have 2 heroes recover. That's not how Dota works nowadays. You want Darkseer shoving lanes, TA traps all over the map. Let Miracle Sven go his Midas build. Get to a point where he's comfortable taking fights. A BKB is necessary if you want to engage against Psg.Lgd. They, of course, have the 22 last pick. Their mid hero is still available. I could see a universe where it was a core Jakiro, but Rubik, of course, one of the hardest counters. And it's surprising they actually picked Rubik, or Jakiro, into Rubik.
Yeah, and with this TA last pick, immediately comes to mind is Roche for Liquid. I'm thinking to myself, LGD,
that's a good point.
We've got pretty good contests, but we need a hero that matches the pace, because Lifestealer is most likely going to go the Midas Radiance build. He might look to mix it up this game, but the TA can threaten the Roche before that happens, so you need to be able to fight them head on with 4 heroes, and this hero needs to output the damage. And there you go, the lane counter, last pick, Cheese Huskar, one of my favorites.
You talk about a 22 pick, all right? Like, this is...
He's ready to slam jam, baby.
It's not even cheese anymore, right? We've seen it long enough, but this... You crush TA in the laning phase, and he needs to get ahead in this game, and it's going to be so difficult, especially the way Maybe's been performing.
Wow, okay, so for anybody who's not used to seeing a pick like this, why do we see it here?
Well, you already had good lane matchups between the Lifestealer, Darkseer.
Flame getting an extra as well as Charles. Next up is coming in damage is the ET. We've seen power being throughout this competition. Nova, how much life have you got? Kuro is running out that bonus damage. It's only got 1 second left, and he can pitch it to X-Nova. Maybe he can do it. I'll try and play it. He does to get the kill on Kuro.
Mid lane. Why is Rubik so... Oh yeah, got first blood. I was like, why is he so rich? How many CS did it take away from the darks? But yeah, now it's when it gets tricky at mid. Thomas has a bottom lane.
I'm going to land the Stormhammer. Once again, Kuro finding a large chunk of damage for that ET against X-Nova. I think some Shakira fans will be sad it's not FY on that hero, but still Kuro. He just doesn't want to stop. And we've run out of damage. And Kuro just dragging Chalice next door away from the wave.
He got a bit too far ahead of him. He has 30 seconds on a TP, and LGD knows this. That's a pretty big down. What I was getting at is that in this mid lane, this is how he wants to play. He wants to stabilize the lane, get it on top of his own kill, and just deny. He lost control a little bit though, so there will be some experience coming the way of Weed now, but maybe it's not
the Weeds are been near the mid, get missed out. And that's one of when you miss out on 2 range creeps.
Absolutely. I think Sinus identified that Weeha is playing, well, obviously he's playing jungle, he isn't in the lane, but maybe took a chance on how far Weeha would be of pushing it up just at that time. It's a really big goal.
I'll continue to test the top lane. FY doing the best they can to pull. Looking for the denials against mind control. As deep moving towards mid lane. That is one person who can stand back in this lane.
Right. They can put the Rubik here, and he can just take some CS with Fate Bolt every wave. And Darkseer can get, he can top, but without health up here, once FY hits level 3, there's actually kill potential. So Darkseer at waves, and he's blocking up the big camp as done. Mind Control will be forced to be in the lane into Ame. That's where I'm in with those long duration lockdowns. Maybe set up a potential kill later on. Gonna be might even retreat to the jungle at some point because this feels kind of like a check situation top. You can't that and you can't cut dude.
Yeah. And so, if you just mind shell the wave, Ame will farm it underneath the tower. Even that push doesn't help you.
Yeah, he used 2 shells in a wave that isn't even gonna creep. That feels really bad. That's because FY has pulled this, and Mind Control was hoping that these 2 shells would get him 2 or 3 CS. But instead, that's pretty much absolute nothing. He'll get a little bit of experience from this creep wave coming his way, but he's out of resources.
He needs that. He needs the Soul Ring.
Yeah. Currently, how both Model and Soul Ring. I'm guessing he will go to Soul Ring now.
The side think twice about moving closer towards Charlotte.
South.
That he does. Kuro's also a decent amount of damage. The move towards the bottom lane, looking for a move. He's found a haste drone. Probably get a bit of a peek over, see what we lined up to.
Exactly.
As we lose a big dark troll. X-Nova. No, you ready? Yeah.
We got it.
And now, X-Nova, he under enough possible, he pitches a pickup. The Mango, he has that work with X-Nova. And he got the dual breath off, so Weeha doesn't have the movement speed. X-Nova's going to come towards the tower, and Weeha is really chasing for this kill. This is the game. And Weeha even gives him a tip. It's like, keep it making me work for it. Oh, nice stomp. Experience down as well. He's not going to be able to get the movement. And once got Miracle, X-Nova now rides with 3 heroes with that dual breath. And Liquid feels like they have the battle.
So the Hex will not counter him off here, and he will get away. And he got a run up here, so Liquid got 3 for 1. And that kill. That's pretty good overall.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Gold on this dark skip at the moment.
He is gonna buy Top Ring and Raindrop.
Okay. Meanwhile, there's also mass observers and coming back to Korea. actually correct. Let's not. I think he's running into the trees. This won't be the first time he's died running away from both Jakiro as well as may not be the last. So how are you actually liking the timings? You had 3 kills on the board. Gold thing. It's a little bit the way of Lgd. But no one has. Who does he do well?
This is how every Huskar game is. It's like, have a good start, but 1 or 2 bad fights just falls really hard in my opinion in most games. So
but you speak on a guy who need like the Aegis, right? To actually stand the fight. So is Shan something they look towards, or is there other ways to kill them?
absolutely wants to get those later on. Play Huskar with some sort of safety. Make that we classic compatible with all and that. But they're
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Control totally. Yeah, the double iron shells we were getting instant farm. They weren't really ready for the second one to come from the trees.
LGD are pushing really hard. He's so far away from the Midas. Lazio is having a time currently. And we also have to kind of sacrifice this game more than the supports of LGD as well. They're just not letting Miracle goes for deep. They cast all their spells on him. And he's so low now that he's probably going to have to go to Shrine Up. But it's already been used, so it's not even bad. Down people with low health and back of tangos.
I love to fight, but still have to fight. You are getting a lot out of GH because we are in the jungle. He's taking all of these 500 network behind the Huskar. And keep in mind, these aren't lane creeps, these jungle creeps. They're not even ancients. Now F1 comes along with the trap. G8 has to get the telecom. She goes for the instant grab.
They're worried. I think there's more here. Or back off.
Like it wasn't Huskar, but maybe now he'll come. So Somnus can have a bit of what we done. He's going to fight. Yeah. Coming over for the small power. As Kuro will put Chalice to slim. But double damage. Miracle doesn't see him. He runs it. He's really dead. He has to get back behind T1 tower right now. I think Kuro wants to go for them. And yeah, they really see him now. Kuro don't have enough time to get the stomp. And the TP fix the team. LGD chasing. But no matter to get the TP out of safety. There is not. Burning Beams will not be enough damage to kill him.
Now it's Nova's going to skill Ice Path. Yep. Just Ice Path.
Fine, I just did 1 point. I think it was Batman too.
I have stick charge. But it's sense turn on DH.
Back over, but
Radiant's bottom tower is
bottom lane. Kuro as well as Miracle were a long way off.
And this is the first game on Jakiro from X-Nova that he doesn't skill Ice Path before level 5, but he needs the attack speed first in the lane against Kuro throughout first. And against Miracle, dual breath and Liquid Heart, just amazing against the dual lane in particular.
And what we see happen on Huskar Road, so they take the tier 1 tower instantly. Spending all this time on building a desolator. There has to be a bonus. There has to be the next block.
Well, you're playing Sven and Cia, and you locked your lanes, so can't really do very much now.
So you look, so you just recover until 5.
Yep. Just very few places available on the map. Look at, yeah, they have to try to. Now we lost. And it's a stupid problem for Liquid in this game, absolutely. I would love to see them make.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We have Darkseer to play around with Ion Shield. He can try to fight with Miracle. Miracle lost his lane pretty hard.
And Miracle may die. The smoke from LGD. He blind break for Miracle gets quick from the line. Running. GH. And the space no double break. It came in, so he can't. It's accept the fact that Tenant Hartman has also completed the armor for his first for the call. It came out, so he can't create any level of space. And just back up and accept the fact that he's dead. 10.5 minute minus is also completed on Arme for his first usage. So the money for the cause, the 1 positions, really starting to separate heavily. 3.2k to the 4.8k.
Liquid just needs to keep pushing lanes. I think Miracle has to accept that he has to jungle, and you can either put the Darkseer, maybe put the Darkseer bottom and Sven top, but because Lifesteal is so far ahead, I think he's also going to struggle up there. So he's kind of limited on where to go. They need to just push waves out, try to get 1 or 2 key items. I think what you want to get is you want to get the TA Deso, and you want to get maybe 1 item on Sven, but he's going Midas, so that's also going to take forever. It's just, there's not the best pairings for Darkseer early game. You know, Liquid have played it with the Ember, they played it with the Alchemist. Sven is a slower version where you need levels in vacuum, and you ideally want to...
Here we go. Arme walks straight in to pick him up, throw him down. Have they got the damage output? Yes, they do. Dead for 30 seconds without buyback available. And this will be an opportunity. They push the lanes, maybe even take a tier 1. Chalice will arrive.
That was the best possible play on the map. That's where they use the Darkseer.
Oh, they're going in. Wait. Chalice coming back closer. He's trying to play around with them. There's still Iron Shell burn damage, but Chalice is drawing the attention away. Meanwhile, Xnova thinks about his rotation, but so does Kuro. Everyone looks so glowy. Chalice, open wound, stolen by GH. Here's the Storm Bolt out. Chalice, what's he want to do? Miracle staying with him. The Stormhammer's already been committed. And with the extra support arriving from LGD, 4 heroes come to the top lane. The Kuro's Spirit, it comes in, and the Stampede comes forward. And what have you got stolen? It's only the double-edge stolen. That's not exactly what GH wanted. But Xnova is with the Ice Path. Miracle doesn't have the movement speed anymore, and the Spirit's being pulled back in again. You do have ET Splitter, and Surge is coming off cooldown. So a lot of commitment from LGD, and all you got was the Rubik.
I love that detail from Chalice, though. I agree, it wasn't the best of a fight. They only got the Rubik kill, but he stampedes and instantly double-edges a creep next to him to make sure he knew GH was waiting for that stampede to try to steal it. But he was just faster on the fingers there with getting the double-edge off. Secures them that kill. Liquid, however, they will be putting pressure on the mid tower, and defense has to come in now. It's coming in through Xnova with the Macropyre. Should be able to hold this. He might need help from +1, and that's coming right now. Centaur will join. No Stampede, though. Weehaw
really wants to finish this, but because he's overstayed his welcome, Chalice pounces with Xnova. They put him down. FY doesn't have the mana for a finger, but now he does! Goodbye, Templar Assassin. LGD go from taking the tier 1 tower on top, now bearing down on the tier 1 tower in mid.
That was surprising that that LGD stayed for that. Ichi Gaming? Nope, they're not in the tournament anymore. LGD actually... Liquid just kept going there with the Centaur keeping in and Jakiro in position, and they were only the TA and the Sven. These 2 heroes right now, they're not a threat. The threat in this game is Darkseer. He's the one enabling the Sven plays. He's the one that gave them this top kill in the tower. If you're without your Darkseer and you try to go into Centaur, there's no way that's going to work.
If the Desolator was done, it might have been a very different scenario, but...
we have barely got to attack. I think he would have died anyway. So a bit of a blunder, and this gives LGD an even bigger lead now to 4k gold. Keeping the ramp up. Ame is not going Radiance. His Armlet completed in about 100 gold, so that's another big power spike for them. But
I love this from
nice power kill.
With the Ice Path, they can keep Chalice away from it, so we can't deny it.
This is, in my opinion, this is one of the absolute best spells to steal in the whole game. Like, not in this game, but in Dota in general. Ice Path on Rubik is insane. You have no cast time. You have the longer debuff amplification with the Arcane Supremacy once you start skilling that up. And GH, if Liquid are going to win this game, look for that spell in fights. You can get it.
They messed up the smoke a little bit, but Chalice is going to come out anyway. They saw him move inside the pit. He'll move a little bit further north. Templar Assassin wants to fight. He has the double damage through, but what are you going to do? Go into Roshan? They have to bait the fight. GH wasn't caught inside the smoke. That's why they feel a little bit less confident about this. Ice Path doesn't catch Chalice. It feels like Liquid are just like, they're throwing their fishing rod out there. Forgetting to hold onto the handle, however. Nothing's biting. Oh. No jump forward from Weeha, even with the surge up.
3 for 1 rune. LGD.
The Huskar who's not involved. Something you don't normally think you'd say 15 minutes into a game. Normally it's Huskar who's the one jumping forward. So almost has 2 kills to his name. But he's building into the BKB first before it looks like he wants to fight.
That will be a crazy timing for LGD, because if he has BKB before the TA and the Sven does, he can just jump in with 0 risk. He can always just use the disarm if he's in trouble.
Stampede, they're coming forward. GH picks him up. He's probably able to steal Stampede, but as you said, he doesn't want it. He wants Ice Path instead. As Chalice walks away underneath the ET Spirit.
I don't want it. Yep. Indeed, I mean, even though there's only 1 minute left on Ice Path, you see the prioritization there from GH. He thinks it's on.
There needs to be help for Miracle. Ice Path, finger. Once again, Liquid, they just have one player who's a little bit over into LGD's territory.
They were not ready at all for that play to come in from LGD. Another Ice
Here they go.
Connect.
Connects over on, and then you get 2 back from GH. So you can lower a little bit of the damage of Chalice, but Somnus has joined the fight. Denial of the tower there from GH.
Nicely done. LGD, it's a little bit of a thorn in their side this Rubik in this game, getting that deny as well, but I think they're still feeling pretty good about their chances. All of their cores are having a great game. Lion also having an outstanding game. Even the Jakiro, Xnova, who we generally see be really poor, when he's playing this Jakiro, you just get that extra farm that you don't see on other 5s. He's up to 31 CS, very high for him 16 minutes in. Has that extra 1k gold over Kuro.